apart before we got to top 2.
Yeah.
All right, players are just playing lands and passing back and forth. Is there a turn 3 play? There is. Frontline medic, not a bad one.
You can't get through 3 turns of gate crash sealed with nobody playing anything.
That's right, and it's up against an armored transport. It's no match for the frontline medic. Right now it's just a Centaur Courser, but wow, it's followed up immediately by a Sky Knight Legionnaire, and both are going to attack, setting up 2 of the 3 creatures he needs for a battalion down the line. But right now, 4th planes for Maltiko means he can only bash with armored transport and play a Knight of Obligation. Not too bad. It can get in the way of the frontline medic. Looks like he's going to attack with both anyway. He can represent many different combat tricks here. He likely has one. Skinbrand Goblin. Nope. He could use a mugging post-combat to take out that knight. He's just going to play, a Rubble Belt Raiders instead. So he had a free attack there, and he decided to use it. Now all of a sudden, he's threatening a really nasty attack with a 6/6 Rubble Belt Raiders, indestructible, along with Frontline Medic and Sky Knight Legionnaire, also indestructible. But Orzhov Charm is going to take down Rubble Belt Raiders before that attack can even happen. And both creatures are going to be attacking here. Maltiko's at 11, but he does drop, which we say HT991122.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mouthful to say every single time. Hiroki, I guess I'll say.
I think, is pretty good.
He drops him down to 13 there. So Hiroki is surveying the scene here.
Is he a singer? Does Hiroki karaoke?
Oh, jeez. And the Knight of Obligation is, in fact, going to jump in front of Frontline Medic once again. Does he want to use a trick this time? He does. Arrows of Justice is going to do 3 damage to Knight of Obligation. 4 damage, which kills it. And he's got a Skinbrand Goblin to follow up. He could have used that as well, but he'd rather have a battalion hit this turn. Armored Transport is not going to be able to block any of these things profitably. After the Frontline Medic trigger from his battalion goes on the stack, making all of his creatures indestructible.
Yeah, Hiroki's deck is very, very good. Certainly, we've watched some matches sort of, as it were, off camera, and he has had a ton of just really good cards in his deck, and all the right meat and potatoes that you'd want to see.
I see. All right, so a Balustrade Spy for Maltiko, although Hiroki, he still has attacks here. He can just send everybody in there and get in for 5. Potentially. Foundry Champion is going to do 4 damage, though. And I think that's going to be... Well, it's not... Let's see, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it could be game next turn, though. Frontline Medic triggers. They're all indestructible. It's going to drop Maltiko down to 2, and this has just been a complete beating by Hiroki. His Boros deck was able to come up with turn 4 Rubble Belt Raiders into turn 6 Foundry Champion, and that's it. Game 1 goes to Hiroki.
Okay, I'm going to take you across to the match between Johnny Hot Sauce, Mr. Andrew Shrout, at the bottom of your screen, up against Reed Duke. Reed is underway, both these players at 1 and 2. Reed at 18 live, and as you can see, the battlefield getting pretty cluttered. Johnny Hot Sauce is down to 6 though, and that is because of 3 flyers in the middle of the battlefield. Individually, not super exciting, but that is a lot of Air Force right there. Millennial Gargoyle, and Kingpin's Pet, with flanked by a couple of Gutter Skulk to hold up the ground. Now, we're going to see Holy Mantle arrive. Johnny Hot Sauce is going to give his Arms Beast protection from creatures and send it in. But he is at 7 and in desperate trouble. He's about to go to 1, but Reed is down to 9, and there's an Extort creature here, the Basilica Guards. This is suddenly very, very tight, because Gutter Skulk would get blocked. The other Gutter Skulk would get blocked by Basilica Guards and Death Cult Rogue. It is an all-in from Reed. Here come the 5 creatures. The 3 flies in the center of your screen, they are not getting blocked. Death Cult Rogue looks to trade with Gutter Skulk. Basilica Guards looks to stay alive opposite the other Gutter Skulk. That is what is going to happen. Johnny Hot Sauce at 1. Reed Duke, what comes next? What have you got? Purge the Profane. You discard 2 cards. Reed gains 2 life. And that is potentially going to take him out of range. It's not the discard that counts here. Would you believe it? It's a 4-mana gain 2 life spell that is going to potentially give Reed Duke this game 1. Because Arms Beast, it has protection, but Holy Mantle, it's just an 8/8 with Reed currently at 9, but about to hit 11. And the Basilica Guards, a single spell with Extort will not be sufficient. Johnny Hot Sauce got lots to think about here. He's just discarded this Horror of the Dim, and now he has 1 more discard to make, and that is a big discard. It's Urbis Protector, the 1/1 that gives you a 4/4 Angel. So, what can he do? He has 3 cards in hand, 1 Extort available from this Basilica Guards, and the 8 life will not get the job done. Presumably, he can't possibly kill off all 3 of these flyers. And even if he were to somehow do that, it's unimaginable outside Merciless Eviction. So Johnny Hot Sauce says, no, you got me. It was Purge the Profane Marshal that gave Reed Duke ultimately the victory. He leads 1-0. Back to you.
All right, so I've got David Kaplan on the top side of the screen. That's Goobafish versus Lord Nazgul down below. And Goobafish is at 10. He had a really aggressive start with an Ordrune Veteran wearing Madcap skills, and he had Gorklan Rampager as well. But all of those are in the graveyard now, thanks to some double blocks and some Devour Fleshes. And it looks like he's trying to regain some type of aggressive hold on this game. He's going to start with a Viashino Shanktail and play a land. He's got 2 mana left, pretty much any colors he wants, and he's facing down a Balustrade Spy and a Basilica Screecher, 2 cards in hand for Lord Nazgul. All right, Pit Fight is going to be... He's going to use those extra 2 mana on Pit Fight to take down Basilica Screecher and pass the turn back. So just a lonely Balustrade Spy, 3 cards in hand, a bunch of mana for Lord Nazgul. His opponent sitting at 11. He's deciding if he wants to attack here. He can't block the Shanktail profitably, but he can get in the way of the Syndicate Tides. So it depends heavily on what his follow-up play is, whether he wants to attack here or not. He's sitting at 19, so he can take some hits. He decides just to keep his life total high and pass the turn back. Just the Shanktail enters the red zone for Kaplan. It's going to drop Lord Nazgul down to 16, so he's still at a healthy life total. Ooh, here's a big one. Rubble Hulk. Pay for Extort, too. So it's already a 7/7. Every land drop that he plays from here on out is going to make it that much bigger. But really, it's just a massive beater that Lord Nazgul is going to have to do something about.
Yep, Ari in a pretty difficult spot here with just the 2 cards in hand. He's just got that Balustrade Spy completely outclassed by the opposing board in every way.
All right, Act of Treason could seal the deal here for... He does pay for the Extort. It resolves. And here comes a big Alpha Strike. 7, 10, 12. And that's the game.
Game, set, match. Okay, the match that I am watching is down in the basement. It is Silenced One against DZY. I can tell you, Jan van der Vet fans, it's not great news because your man from the Netherlands is already 1 behind in this one. It was a Keymaster Rogue, which got siphoned onto with Paranoid Delusions, and that was pretty much that. So Silenced One is now piling in. As you see, 8 plays 6. His Keymaster Rogue again having to bounce something. More rats courtesy of Ogre Slumlord. It looks to me like DZY is about to fall to 0-4 and be the one player without a point coming out of sealed. He will not be out of it because he will still have the chance to get 25 points from Cube and then 25 points from Standard tomorrow. 50 points might be enough to make the final, but he is certainly in the last chance saloon here if he loses this game. As it seems now, he surely must. Just a debtor's pulpit on his side of the table to prevent what looks like a sealed catastrophe. Arms Beast, Basilica Screecher, sure, that's something. Is it enough though? Silenced One. Up at the top of the screen, 3 cards left in hand. Ton of creatures. He has Debtor's Pulpit, Arms Beast, and Basilica Screecher getting in the way. The Keymaster Rogue will be tapped down by Debtor's Pulpit. So now a 3/4 flying Cloudfin Raptor will look to get past Basilica Screecher. Very likely DZY will have to just put the Basilica Screecher in the graveyard. Slumlord coming in by the looks of things. Also Sage's Road Denizen. The thing is that Ogre Slumlord is going to lead to more rats. It's a desperate situation for Jan van der Vecht. And of course, he is sitting there with no mana available. All the mana and the cards belong to Silenced One. And Daniel Botov looks to me like he is going to get his account underway. Last chance qualifier, remember, in RTR sealed to get here. The Arms Beast is going to block the life-linked Ogre Slumlord. So, still waiting for Jan to decide whether to put that Basilica Screecher in the way of the Cloudfin Raptor. Or does he go somewhere else? Does he put it in front of the rat, keep it alive? No, it is going... yeah, it's just such a tricky situation, this. It's like, well, I can go to 1, then how do I possibly come out of things? But that is what happens. Trigger from the Ogre Slumlord, so we're going to see more rat action. The Arms Beast is sitting there. Jan van der Vecht in desperate trouble. Silenced One, Demir Keyrune, that can become unblockable. Done. And Silenced One has 4 points. Jan van der Vecht opened up. He was a bit nervous this morning, but I'm sure he can't have imagined the 0-4 start that has actually transpired. Marshall, who have you got?
So I've got Reed Duke on the top of the screen, and he's off to a little bit of a slow start. He just took down, though, a Zarichi Tiger that was wearing a Holy Mantle. So that did a lot of work towards stabilizing this board, as he had already fallen down to 7 life. Johnny Hot Sauce on the bottoms at 17 and looking to try to keep the pressure going. He's already resolved a Devour Flesh and an Orzhov Charm to take out a Kingpin's Pet and a Gutter Skulk from Reed. Reed has a Knight of Obligation left over. And Reed has a Cryptghast. He's not going to be able to pay for the Extort from the Knight of Obligation this turn, but with 2 swamps up, you figure he'll be able to pay quite a bit. All right, so there's an end step play. It's an Executioner swing that's going to take out Knight of Obligation. That got in for 2 damage before. Looks like Johnny Hot Sauce decided that it was worth it, the wait, even though he might have gotten an Extort trigger out of it to see if there was something scarier than the Knight of Obligation. He decided, nope, I'm going to pull the trigger here. This Copa Guild Mage, pay for Extort, is going to hit the table for Johnny Hot Sauce, and he's going to battle in there for 1, dropping Reed down to 4. All right, a little bit of thinking happening here on Reed's side of the table. He's got 6 mana available thanks to a Cryptghast. There's definitely the opportunity for some Extort if he can get that going. He'd love a way to take that annoying Basilica Screecher out, but instead he has to just purge the Profane this turn. That is going to get him a little bit of a life bump. Let's see if he pays for the Extort as well. It looks like he's going to. It's going to take out Johnny Hot Sauce's entire hand here as he only had 2 cards left.
Yeah, and remember, Purge the Profane won Reed that last game.
Yes. And it's going to be pretty decent here as well for him, as it's going to give him a bit of a life cushion and clean out any potential finishers that Johnny Hot Sauce has in hand, although it looks like he's going to respond by playing a spell. He's got Aerial Maneuver just because he was going to lose it anyway. So all of a sudden his Vizkopa Guildmage is a 3/3 with First Strike and Flying, but Reed can see that and isn't going to be attacking. Oh, he does have another play, though, with that last little bit of mana, a Thrall Parasite. 4 cards in hand still for Reed, and if he gets to untap with that Cryptghast again, he can just keep doing turns like that where he uses up all of his mana and really dumps a bunch of stuff on the table. With 2 Extort creatures, things get out of hand fairly quickly.
Yeah, and he has the ammunition, presumably, in that he's got 4 cards in hand. So
Johnny Hot Sauce does not offer the trade with his Vizkopa Guildmage. He just has a Horror of the Dim to follow up. No Extort. All right, another big turn for Reed. That Cryptghast really powering out the mana as he's stuck on 4, but has 6 available thanks to the Cryptghast.
Dmitry Butakov, by the way, has a 2-0 victory over Oscar Jones, Pyromaniac 4-2-9-0. So Dmitry Butakov 3-1, 17 points. Oscar Jones will stay at 2-2, 10 points.
All right, Court Street Denizen for Reed. He's going to pay for both Extorts, it looks like. Creeping him ever upward. He's back up to 8 now. He's got another play. It's a Death Cult Rogue. No Extort here, though. He's going to use up all of his mana to get that Rogue down. Doesn't have any attacks. Pass the turn. Johnny Hot Sauce still top decking thanks to that Purge the Profane from Reed. He's going to activate the ability from Vizkopa Guildmage to give this creature lifelink.
More results coming in. As you already know, Daniel Botov beat Jan van der Vecht by 2-0. A new one for you, though. That is Sam Pardy defeating Andreas Eklund. So Ekan stays at 10 points, 2-2. Sam Pardy, SM Deester, goes to 17 points, 3-1.
So the plan here for Johnny Hot Sauce, what he did is he activated his Vizkopa Guildmage to give the Basilica's creature lifelink, and then he activated the second ability on the Guildmage that says whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. So the Basilica's creature is hitting for 2.
Big result. I can tell you that Melda Home, Maltico, has defeated his Japanese opponent Hiroki Yamashita, and that means that Melda Home, who you heard at the end of the last round talking with Brian David Marshall, is your 4-0 clean sweep of Sealed, 25 points. He leads the Magic Online Championship after 1 format.
Oh, good for him. All right, Shadow Slice for Reed says, I'm going to put a clock on you with this Death Cult Rogue. Currently, nothing can block it, and he's got the mana to pay for the Extort, especially going forward. He's going to get to pay it both times this turn, and bang, hit you for 5 and Extort for 1 more. And all of a sudden, Reed is in a really good position here.
Yep, and the comeback is almost complete from that 0-2. Another loss would have seriously damaged his top 2 chances tomorrow evening. But he is very close now to going 2-2 in Sealed. He will breathe a sigh of relief and say, let's move on to Cube.
That's right. All right, Johnny Hot Sauce at 4. He's just drawn his card. He either has to kill his opponent this turn or do that.
Okay, I'm going to take you to the match between David Kaplan at the top of your screen, that is Gooberfish, up against Ari Malka, that is Lord Nazgul at the bottom. And as you can see, Nazgul is at 8, and in fact, there we are, we have a result right there. It was Sky Knight Legionnaire and Ember Beast getting the job done. Looks to have secured a victory for David Kaplan in that one. Marshall, have you got a game still going?
I do.
Okay, who have you got?
All right, so on the top I have George, and he's got a Kingpin's Pet, an Ember Beast, and a White of Precinct 6 currently as a 4/4, playing against Cosmo on the bottom, who looks like he's in the middle of his attack step, battling in with an Ivy Lane Denizen, a Warmind Infantry that just got its battalion trigger, so it's a 4/3, and a Disciple of the Old Ways. He's got 5 mana available as well. We're in the declare block step here, or phase, so both players at 12 life. George has 1 card in hand, Cosmo has 2. Ember Beast and its friend White of Precinct 6 are both going to block. The White's going to jump in front of the Disciple. And Ivy Lane Denizen is going to get blocked by Ember Beast. This is a big one. Wrecking Ogre. He's targeting Warmind Infantry. This is lethal. That's going to be 14 points of damage, and that's the game. Just like that, Wrecking Ogre wins it for Cosmo.
Wow. Do you know, I am not... that may be the very last thing that's going on in this round.
That could be the last one.
Working our way through. Johnny Hot Sauce against Reader Rabbit is done. I do believe we are all done. Yep, that's your lot. That was a blistering round.
Wow, that was,
round
especially
4.
for sealed.